All right, so we're back and diving into something really different this time.
Definitely unique.
Yeah. Someone sent us this motivational video script,
Okay.
and it's in Urdu.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and the whole thing is about 7 types of people you should avoid for a happier life,
Interesting.
which I thought was fascinating.
Yeah.
And so we thought, what can we learn from this?
Yeah. Are these sort of personality types universal?
Yeah, are these things that we see,
Yeah.
across cultures?
Exactly. And it is interesting thinking about Urdu itself is spoken by a huge global audience.
Right.
It's mainly in South Asia, but, the reach is extensive. And motivational content really plays a big part in those cultures.
Yeah.
But this idea that there are certain personality types that can hinder our happiness, that feels pretty relatable no matter where you're from.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the video jumps right in
Okay.
with self-serving people.
Okay.
And they don't hold back. They compare them to a wheelbarrow.
Oh, wheelbarrow.
Always taking, never give. Like a burden that you're forced to push uphill.
Okay.
That's pretty harsh, right?
Yeah, that's a very powerful image. And it does actually connect some pretty solid psychological research on takers versus givers.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In fact, there's a whole body of work on what some researchers call emotional vampires.
Ooh.
People who drain your energy without giving back.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm already feeling a little nervous.
Right.
Thinking about who might fit that description in my life.
Yeah.
But,
Before we spiral.
yes, before we spiral, what are some signs
Sure.
someone might be this wheelbarrow type?
Well, you really want to think about the relationships that leave you feeling depleted?
Okay.
Do you consistently find yourself giving more than you receive?
Yeah.
Whether it's emotional support, practical help, even just basic reciprocity, if it feels one-sided,
Yeah.
that's a red flag.
Okay. This is already making me rethink some friendships.
Right.
All right. On to type number 2, toxic people.
Ooh.
This one, the video really goes for it. They call these folks mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes.
Ouch.
Right.
I know. And the imagery is vivid.
Yeah.
It describes them as sucking the good out of your life.
Ugh,
And you know what? There's actually some science behind this.
really?
Our brains are wired with this thing called negativity bias,
Okay.
which means we latch on to negative information
Got it.
more easily than positive.
Yeah.
So constantly being around people who complain, gossip, spread negativity, it can really bring you down.
That makes total sense. I remember reading a study that showed even brief exposure to negative news can spike stress hormones.
Oh, wow.
It's like our brains are Velcro for bad vibes.
Yeah, absolutely. So avoiding mosquitoes, it's not just about dodging annoying people.
Right.
It's protecting your mental well-being.
Exactly.
Good point. Okay. On to type number 3, controlling people. This one's symbolized by the ladder.
A ladder.
Yeah. And this one intrigued me because it's not always so obvious.
It is subtle, right?
Yeah.
The script portrays this type as someone who wants to elevate you,
Okay.
but only on their terms.
Interesting.
They offer you a ladder,
Mm-hmm.
but they decide where you climb and how high you go.
So they might have good intentions,
They might.
but ultimately they're stifling your independent growth.
Precisely. And this can play out in all sorts of relationships, romantic partners, family members, even friends who always need to be in charge.
Oh, yeah.
And it can stem from some deeper issues,
Okay.
like codependency or a need to exert power.
Mm-hmm.
So you think about terms like love bombing,
Oh, yeah.
showering someone with affection to manipulate them,
Wow.
or gaslighting, making someone question their own reality. These are hallmarks of controlling behavior.
Those are serious red flags.
Yeah.
So how do we know if someone's help is actually healthy?
It comes down to boundaries.
Okay.
Healthy relationships allow space for individual growth.
Right.
If someone's constantly dictating your choices
Yeah.
or making you feel guilty for pursuing your own path,
Yeah.
that's a sign something's off.
Great advice.
Yeah.
Bracing myself for the next one because it sounds intense. Deceitful and opportunistic people.
Oh, boy.
aka the crocodile.
This one is dramatic.
Yeah.
The script paints a picture of a crocodile lurking beneath the surface, seemingly calm,
Right.
but ready to strike when you least expect it.
I can almost hear the dramatic music,
Right.
but that feeling of being caught off guard, of betrayal, of manipulation, it's so real.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Crocodiles are all about hidden agendas. They might be charming and friendly on the surface, but ultimately they're using you for their own gain.
Yeah.
The script specifically warns against them knowing your weaknesses and using them against you.
Okay, now I'm definitely looking over my shoulder.
Right.
How do we protect ourselves from these crocodiles?
It's all about discernment.
Okay.
Pay attention to actions, not just words.
Right.
If someone consistently behaves in ways that contradict what they say,
Hmm.
or if they always seem to benefit from your generosity without reciprocating, those are signs to watch out for.
Trust your gut. Right.
Yes, trust your gut.
Okay, moving on to type 5,
Mm-hmm.
which honestly might be the one I relate to the most.
Yeah.
Envious and two-faced people. The video calls them chameleons.
Ah, the chameleon.
Always changing colors depending on who's around.
Right.
Smiling to your face but talking behind your back. Classic betrayal of trust.
It is, and it speaks to something we all crave.
What's that?
Authenticity.
Yes,
Yes.
that's it.
Yeah.
When someone's a chameleon, it makes you question every interaction.
It does.
Like, who are you really dealing with?
Exactly, and it undermines that feeling of safety and trust that's so essential for genuine connection.
Yeah.
Building a supportive network
Right.
means surrounding yourself with people who are consistently genuine,
Yeah.
not just putting on a show.
Totally agree.
Okay.
On to type 6, people who spread discouragement.
Okay.
Or what the video calls the negative teacher.
Okay.
I think we've all encountered this type at some point.
It's a common archetype.
Yeah.
The script describes them as those who constantly try to break your dreams and tell you you can't succeed.
Right.
They're like a teacher who, instead of nurturing your potential, instills self-doubt.
It's like they take on the role of dream crusher
Yes.
instead of a cheerleader.
Exactly.
And it's especially tough when it comes from someone we might view as an authority figure.
Right. And this is where the concept of self-fulfilling prophecies comes into play.
Oh, yeah.
If you're constantly told you can't do something,
Right.
you're more likely to internalize that belief and limit your own efforts.
It's almost as if they're projecting their own limitations onto you.
It can feel that way, right?
Yeah. So it's crucial to be mindful of whose opinions we allow to influence us.
Absolutely. Sometimes the greatest act of self-belief is defying those who try to hold us back.
Mm-hmm.
Surround yourself with people who encourage your growth,
Yeah.
not those who try to dim your shine.
Well said. Okay. We've arrived at our final type, which honestly sounds a bit exhausting.
Yeah.
Negative-minded people. Or as the video puts it, the trash bin.
The trash bin.
Yeah, this one's all about mindset.
Okay.
The script compares these folks to trash bins,
Okay.
always overflowing with negativity.
Uh-huh.
And just like a trash bin, if you're not careful, their negativity can spill over and contaminate your own environment. I've definitely been in situations where someone's negativity felt like it was sucking all the oxygen out of the room.
It's a real phenomenon,
Yeah.
and it goes beyond just pessimism.
Okay.
It's about a mindset that focuses solely on what's wrong
Mm-hmm.
without exploring solutions or acknowledging any good.
It's like they're stuck in a negativity loop,
Yeah.
constantly
Yeah.
reinforcing those
Yeah.
patterns of thinking.
Yeah.
So how do we protect ourselves from becoming contaminated?
It's about setting boundaries and recognizing that we have a choice in how we respond to negativity.
Okay.
Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, is a great example of this. It's a type of therapy that helps people identify and challenge negative thought patterns, replacing them with more balanced and helpful ones.
So it's not about ignoring problems,
No.
but learning to approach them with a more solution-oriented mindset.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We can't always control what life throws at us,
Yeah.
but we can control how we react.
Right.
And sometimes that means limiting our exposure to people who dwell on negativity.
Wow, that's a lot to process.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground exploring these 7 distinct personality types that we might want to avoid.
Yeah.
But I have to say, I'm a little curious about the flip side.
Okay.
If these negative types exist, are there positive counterparts we should be actively seeking out?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Like if we're trying to build a dream team
Yeah.
of positive influences,
Exactly.
who makes the cut?
Yeah, let's get into that. You know what's remarkable about this whole conversation?
What's that?
This Urdu video, even though it's in another language, it speaks to something universal
Yeah.
about human experience. Right. It's like these 7 types are archetypes. You encounter them everywhere, regardless of culture.
You're so right. It's like they've bottled up
Yeah.
these universal patterns of behavior
Mm.
and given them incredibly vivid labels.
Yeah.
And just thinking about them has made me realize
Yeah.
how much they've shown up in my life.
That's the power of archetypes,
Yeah.
right? They give us a framework for understanding human nature and the dynamics that play out in our relationships.
Okay, so let's recap.
Yeah.
We've got the self-serving people,
Yes.
the wheelbarrows, always taking, never giving.
Right.
Then there are the toxic people, those energy-draining mosquitoes.
Yes.
Buzzing around, spreading negativity.
Right. And then there's the controlling people.
Yeah.
The ladders.
Always trying to dictate your every move.
Exactly. And of course, we can't forget the deceitful and opportunistic people.
Those crocodiles.
The crocodiles lurking beneath the surface, waiting to strike.
And then there are the envious and two-faced people. The chameleons who change their colors depending on who they're with.
Just thinking about them is exhausting.
It really is.
We also talked about people who spread discouragement, those negative teachers who try to crush your dreams.
Yeah.
And lastly, we explored negative-minded people. The trash bins, always overflowing with negativity.
Wow. When you lay it out like that, it's quite a lineup.
It is, right.
It's like a rogues gallery of challenging personalities.
Yeah.
I have to admit, it's making me a little wary of everyone I know.
I understand that feeling, but remember, the goal isn't to become paranoid or distrustful.
Right.
Recognizing these patterns is about empowering yourself.
Okay.
To make conscious choices.
Yeah.
About the relationships you cultivate and how you navigate them.
You're right. It's about awareness, not suspicion.
Exactly.
Okay, so this video focuses on avoiding these types of people.
Right.
But I'm curious.
Okay.
Do you think there's a flip side?
Ooh.
Are there types we should be actively seeking out?
Okay.
Like if we're trying to build a dream team of positive influences, who makes the cut?
I love that question.
Yeah.
It's like we're flipping the script and creating our own antidote to negativity. If there are negative archetypes, there must be positive ones, right?
Right.
Each one offering a counterbalance to those challenging personalities.
Right. Like if the wheelbarrow is all about taking,
Yep.
maybe there's a giving tree archetype.
Ooh, I like that.
Someone who offers support and nourishment without expecting anything in return.
Yeah.
Someone who just makes you feel safe and cared for.
That's beautiful. I know exactly the type of person you're talking about.
Yeah.
And instead of the energy-draining mosquito,
Right.
perhaps there's a butterfly.
Ooh.
Someone who brings lightness and joy into your life.
Yeah.
Who inspires and uplifts you with their energy and enthusiasm.
Yes. Someone who helps you see the beauty and possibility in the world.
I love it.
And maybe instead of the restrictive ladder,
Okay.
there's a hot air balloon.
A hot air balloon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone who encourages you to soar to new heights,
Yeah.
but on your own terms. Someone who offers gentle guidance without trying to control your journey.
Those are fantastic. They're like mentors.
Yeah.
Who believe in your ability to navigate your own path.
And what about an antidote to the crocodile?
Ooh, good.
Instead of
that.
deceit and manipulation,
Yeah.
maybe we seek out the lion, a symbol of courage and loyalty.
Okay.
Someone who protects and defends you fiercely.
Someone who's got your back no matter what.
I love that. And to counter the chameleon, always changing colors.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a rainbow.
Rainbow.
Someone who embraces their authenticity and encourages you to do the same.
Okay.
Someone who celebrates your unique colors and makes you feel seen and accepted for who you truly are.
That's a powerful image.
Right.
Genuine connection, free from judgment and pretense.
And I think we need an antidote to the negative teacher, too.
Yes, definitely.
Instead of crushing dreams, maybe we look for the wise mentor.
Ooh, I like that.
Someone who believes in your potential, guides you with wisdom, and helps you navigate challenges without diminishing your spirit.
Someone who empowers you to believe in yourself. I love it.
And finally, to combat the negativity of the trash bin.
Okay.
Maybe there's a sun.
A sun, all right.
Someone who radiates positivity and warmth. Someone who illuminates even the darkest of times and reminds you of the good in the world.
We've created a whole constellation of
Fantastic.
positive archetypes.
It's like we've built a dream team of support and inspiration.
It really is, and it's a reminder that we have agency.
Yes.
In choosing who we let into our lives.
Absolutely.
And the kind of energy we surround ourselves with.
I'm already feeling more hopeful and empowered.
Yeah.
Just thinking about these positive archetypes. But I have to ask,
Sure.
is it realistic to expect to find all these qualities in one person?
That's a great question, and it brings up a really important point.
What's that?
No one person can be everything to us.
Yeah.
In fact, expecting someone to fulfill all our needs can actually put a lot of pressure.
Yeah. On a relationship.
So it's more about recognizing that different people bring different strengths to our lives.
Exactly.
And it's okay.
It's like building a diverse ecosystem of support.
Okay.
You might have a friend who's a great listener, like a giving tree,
Yeah.
always there to offer a shoulder to cry on. And then you might have another friend who's more like a butterfly,
Right.
always bringing the fun and helping you see the lighter side of things.
I love that analogy.
Yeah,
It's about appreciating the unique gifts each person brings to the table.
precisely. And recognizing that even those who might exhibit some negative traits
So,
can still have positive qualities that contribute to our growth.
wait, are you saying there's hope for the mosquitoes and wheelbarrows of the world?
Well,
That we shouldn't write them off completely?
it's not about condoning harmful behavior
Right.
or staying in relationships that are detrimental to our well-being,
Okay.
but it's about recognizing that people are complex.
Yeah.
And even those who exhibit challenging traits.
Can teach us valuable lessons.
Okay, I'm intrigued. How could a mosquito, for example, teach us something valuable?
Sometimes encountering negativity can make us more aware of our own boundaries
Okay.
and help us practice setting limits.
Right.
It can also highlight the importance of self-care and finding ways to protect our own energy.
So it's like they're inadvertently giving us opportunity to practice those skills.
Exactly. And even a wheelbarrow,
Yeah.
someone who might be very self-centered,
Yeah.
can teach us about the importance of reciprocity in relationships.
Okay.
It can help us recognize the value of our own contributions
Right.
and the need to balance giving and receiving.
That's an interesting perspective.
Yeah.
It's like every relationship, even a challenging one,
Yeah,
can offer opportunities for growth and learning.
precisely. And remember, people can change and evolve.
Yeah.
Someone who might have exhibited wheelbarrow tendencies in the past might develop into a more balanced and giving individual over time.
That's reassuring. It's like we're all works in progress, constantly learning and growing.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've explored these negative and positive archetypes,
Right, yeah.
but I have a feeling there's even more to uncover here.
I think you're right.
What other insights can we glean from this Urdu video and our own experiences?
I think you're right. We've talked about who to avoid and who to seek out, but there's a whole other layer to explore: the why behind our attractions.
Okay.
Why are we drawn to certain types of people in the first place?
Yeah.
What does it say about us?
That's a great question.
Yeah,
Are you suggesting that our relationships are somehow a reflection of ourselves?
I think so.
That we might be subconsciously drawn to certain types
Yes.
because they fulfill a need,
It's possible.
or perhaps challenge us in ways that help us grow?
You're exactly right.
Wow.
It's a fascinating area of exploration.
Yeah.
And I think it has a lot to do with our own patterns and tendencies,
Yeah.
the things we might be working through in our own lives.
I am so ready to dive into this. Let's unpack it all in part 3. Okay. I feel like we're about to unlock a whole new level here. Oh, yeah. We talked about those challenging types, and we even brainstormed those positive counterpoints.
Right.
But what if it's not just random chance?
Yeah.
Who we end up connecting with?
Okay.
What if on some level we're drawn to certain types,
Interesting.
even the difficult ones?
That's a really insightful question, and it gets to the heart of what makes relationships so fascinating.
What's that?
They're often a reflection of ourselves, our needs, our patterns,
Yeah.
even the things we might be struggling with internally.
So it's not just about avoiding the bad or seeking out the good.
Right.
It's understanding why certain people show up in our lives in the first place.
Exactly. It's about deepening that self-awareness.
Okay.
Let's take the mosquito, for example.
Okay.
If you constantly find yourself surrounded by negativity, it might be a sign that you haven't fully learned to set healthy boundaries.
Interesting.
Maybe you're a people pleaser,
Oh.
or you have trouble saying no. The mosquito might be a painful but necessary teacher, showing you where you need to strengthen those limits.
Wow. I never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
So instead of just getting frustrated,
Yeah.
I could actually use those encounters as opportunities to practice setting boundaries.
Precisely.
Almost like a real-life training ground.
Exactly. And let's say you keep bumping into chameleons.
Okay.
Those two-faced types.
Right.
That might be a sign that you're struggling with authenticity yourself.
Oh.
Maybe you're afraid to fully express who you are, so you're drawn to people who are also hiding their true selves.
That's a bit of a tough pill to swallow, but I can see how it makes sense.
Yeah.
If I'm not being genuine, I'm probably going to attract people who are also playing a role.
It's not about blaming yourself,
Oh.
but rather using those relationships as a mirror.
Right.
They can reflect back to us those areas where we might need to do some inner work.
This is blowing my mind.
Right.
It's like we're not just passively bumping into these personality types.
Yeah.
We're actively participating in the dynamics.
Right.
And by changing ourselves, we can actually change the kinds of people we attract.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
about empowerment. Once you recognize the patterns,
Mm-hmm.
you can start to make more conscious choices. Let's say you realize you've been attracting a lot of ladders
Okay.
into your life.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time to explore why you're drawn to that dynamic.
Okay.
Is it a need for external validation?
Oh.
A fear of making your own decisions?
Okay, so let me get this straight. If I keep attracting ladders,
Mm-hmm.
instead of just trying to fix them
Yeah.
or get them to change, I should be asking myself, why am I putting myself in this position in the first place?
You got it. It's not about blaming the other person,
Right.
but rather taking responsibility for your role in the dynamic. And once
Mhm.
you understand that, you can start to shift your own patterns and behaviors.
This is such a powerful shift in perspective.
It is.
It's like we're not just victims of our circumstances.
Right.
We're active creators of our own relational realities.
Exactly. And that's where the real magic happens.
All right.
When you start to own your part in the dance, you can choose different partners, different steps,
Mhm.
even a whole new style of music.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
So instead of just trying to avoid the bad types,
Yeah.
we can use those encounters as opportunities for growth and self-discovery.
Precisely. And remember, growth isn't always comfortable.
Right.
Sometimes it means facing uncomfortable truths about ourselves
Yeah.
or letting go of relationships that no longer serve us.
Mm.
But ultimately, it's about creating a life that's aligned with our values and filled with genuine, supportive connections.
This has been such an incredible journey.
It has.
We started with this simple motivational video in Urdu,
Right.
and it's led us to this profound exploration of human nature
Yeah.
and the power of relationships.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a whole new toolkit for navigating the social world.
Me too. And I think it speaks to the beauty of cross-cultural exchange.
Yeah.
Sometimes the most profound wisdom comes from unexpected places.
You know, before we wrap up, I keep thinking about something you said earlier.
Yeah.
That even those who exhibit challenging traits can teach us valuable lessons. It makes me wonder, is it possible to reframe our perspective
Mm-hmm.
on these negative types? Can we see them not just as people to avoid,
Okay.
but as potential catalysts for growth?
That's such a great point. It's about shifting from a mindset of judgment to one of curiosity and compassion.
Okay.
Maybe the mosquito isn't just an energy drainer.
Yeah.
Maybe they're also someone who's struggling and needs support. Maybe the wheelbarrow is actually carrying a lot of unseen burdens that are making it difficult for them to give back.
So instead of writing them off, we can try to see their humanity and understand the forces that might be shaping their behavior.
Exactly. It's not about condoning harmful actions, but rather recognizing that everyone has their own story, their own struggles.
Yeah.
And sometimes those struggles manifest in ways that can be difficult for others to deal with.
This is so profound. It's like we're taking this ancient wisdom about who to avoid and transforming it into a framework for understanding human behavior with more empathy and nuance.
I love that it's about recognizing that even challenging relationships can offer opportunities for growth,
Yeah.
both for ourselves and for those involved.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation.
It really has.
And you know what? It's got me thinking.
Okay.
If these personality archetypes exist across cultures and throughout history, maybe there's a reason for that.
Interesting.
Maybe they serve a purpose, even the negative ones.
Okay.
Perhaps they challenge us, teach us lessons, and ultimately help us evolve.
It's possible.
So the next time you encounter a wheelbarrow or a mosquito,
Yeah.
instead of just trying to avoid them,
Right.
ask yourself, what can I learn from this interaction? What is this person reflecting back to me about myself?
Ooh, I like that.
It might just be the key to unlocking even greater self-awareness and personal growth.
That's a brilliant takeaway. It's about turning challenges into opportunities for learning and growth.
Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey of discovery. And until next time, keep diving deep.